Alrighty, and we are back. Guess what, folks? This is episode 12. Can you believe we got this is a dozen? We should have donuts. I should have donuts for this.
Hey, we should have had donuts.
We'll do it next week with the Baker's Dozen. Do 13.
Baker's Dozen 13.
So, but it's here we are again. It is your home sweet home. Myself, Fletch from the Fletch Entertainment Network, bringing alongside me Eric from NavX Realty. He is navigating you to your home sweet home. He loves real estate, and that's great. So he's a great realtor and a great source of real estate information to tap into. If you need a realtor, you want to have Eric, trust me, and we will throw him right here at the bottom. That's where you reach Eric.
Hey, there's my website.
That's
cool.
right. That is
my website.
That is real estate website, ericroftrealtor.com. And he's like I said, he's very passionate about it. So he really absorbs and loves the information. He can't get enough of it. He lives and breathes it, and it shows. It shows in his work.
I'm kind of a geek with it. Yeah.
If real estate was Star Wars, he'd be wearing a Chewbacca uniform right now, or something,
right.
or a stormtrooper or something. So
that's right.
That's a shout out to Mark Gal. But anyways, so another good friend of ours. So here we are, episode number 12. We got some really good information we think you'll find very helpful and effective. Some good things are happening as far
changes.
As
I think changes might be
yep.
the title of the show today, because oh my gosh, it's amazing how real estate just a month ago looked and what it looks like today.
Oh, exactly. So
as you and I talked about off camera, I guess the timing of everybody finally realizing, hey, it's a seller's market. Maybe I should get my home on the market for sale, right? I took a look at numbers this week, and I noticed just from like a month ago, Fletch, that the total inventory in the area is up nearly 30%, which is huge. It's huge, right? And,
absolutely.
It's not like have all those buyers been satisfied that were like competing, and especially in my market space where I was losing out on offers in some cases, 10 other offers, 17 other offers, 25. I remember that's my, home run, top of the line. Try to be, have you lost any more offers in 25? No, but I did officially earlier in the year. But yeah, and that I broke that statistic down a little bit, and okay, that's all homes. What about the homes that most people are buying, the range of under 100, or rather under 300,000, and even those are even higher than 30%. I saw those pushing the 38% volume increase. Wow. So it just goes to show you that timing is everything. And for those now entering the market that weren't a part of this rat race that was literally dog eat dog at the door, you're stumbling over people to get in the house. Oh wait, you have a showing? Yeah, I have a showing. What? This is awkward. I'm supposed to have an exclusive show. No, you're not. We're supposed to share the showing. Really? Whatever happened to those good old days? Anyways, just a month ago, right? But now probably nobody is meeting you at the door because there's a little more inventory to chase.
Right.
It's worked out great for a couple of my buyers. I had the fortune of getting two people that have been aggressively looking in a space of look at our offer and no competition. Like I was the only offer on the table. And in fact, one of my listings was, because it was a unique listing, it's way out in the middle of central Ohio and a very small log cabin. But I wasn't getting a lot of attention from that, Fletch, because location, right? I think that was one of the biggest draws. It's meant for a retirement consideration, or like if somebody wanted to rent it as, is it Airbnb?
Right.
You're familiar with those?
Oh, yeah.
So that you want to getaway space and you're surfing the net and you want to be just central to whatever. I mean, this home would work great if you were chasing down the Hocking Hills area, if you wanted to go down to the Ohio River area. It's only like an hour from Cincinnati, so you could get the nightlife there. I'm talking somebody that's way out of town, and this is just a spot for them to kind of get some peace and quiet.
Sure,
right?
sure.
So it wasn't getting a lot of attention, but fortunately, somebody stepped up over the weekend, and now that guy's under contract, and he had no other offers in his space, for us to look at and say, oh, we've got this guy and this guy to choose from. So totally different market space in just a month. I mean, it's pretty incredible how dramatic it has changed. Now, that being said, I, in theory, can predict that our prices have probably reached a plateau, right? And now they'll maybe balance out down a little bit.
Right.
So,
because with more inventory comes more competition, so therefore prices don't quite drive up as much, because that's not the only house I can buy. I can buy that one now. So why I paid this for that one when I can pay this for that one? So,
right. And maybe with the additional inventory, people will not be as aggressive in their offers, not giving the $5,000, $10,000. I've heard of $50,000 over list price, which is insane. It's just boggles the mind. Like, why would you give that much money over list price?
I know it takes you forever to get your money back. So I do not see. I'm just, I am who I am, and I don't see why that is a good thing to do. But
hey, people gotta have what they gotta have.
Made the sale.
I know, right? I mean, and people gotta have what they gotta have. So,
right.
If that home is just the bomb, and they've looked and they've loved other homes they couldn't get a hold of, and then they realize, oh, here's a new one that we absolutely love. Yeah, they take their mind and then they say, let's lose you, okay? We don't need to hear it.
Right.
I'm going to lose my mind. Give them everything. And I'll tell you what, even if the bank won't approve me for all that money, I'm going to bring cash. So
I would say to anybody
crazy.
that doesn't know what we're talking about right now, maybe because it's a home and that's maybe a little confusing, let's put it in different terms. Me and Eric are going to the car dealership, and I want to get the SUV. And I'm like, hey, I want that SUV, that's going to cost me $15,000. That's what's cheaper than it. Let's say it's used. And Eric's like, no, I'm going to pay $20,000 because I want that SUV. And I'm like, they got the same SUV across the street there, but no, Eric's going to pay $20,000 for it. I'm going to pay $25,000 for it. That's what it's like. Nobody would really do that. In more reality, you would go to the next dealership or just get the next SUV. But
because you could find
in this market, there is no other SUV all of a sudden. So that's why we're bidding for it. So that's kind of what's happening with houses. Houses are like cars. They're very particular and very unique. And so therefore certain houses, like you said, that they got a beer tap in every room, or who knows what it is,
A beer tap.
they're the house everybody wants. Yeah, really. The house that everybody wants. Then all of a sudden it's become a bidding war. And I would even say it's not quite that much of the house everybody wants. It's just something with this market is driving people to buy houses and buy them with more money than they would have 2 years ago.
Otherwise, right.
So it's very interesting. But things look like you said, there might be a ceiling showing right now.
I really feel like there is, and also for what it's worth, maybe you've heard it in the news that moratorium is coming to an end on July 1st.
Which is the mortgage relief for those who I'm not sure exactly what that was.
Yeah, so with that, that will actually increase some inventory. It's been suggested that up to 4 million different homes will be added in the inventory landscape nationally. Right. So we will see what that number truly looks like, in the coming months, and recognize probably how the market will soften further in prices. Right. And we need that, Fletch. I mean, it's the landscape of last year, back half of the year, and especially in 2021 has just, boggled the mind from me, the professional side of you, and I'm sure it's been exhausting mentally for the home buyer when they realize, well, they've listed it for X, but we've got to pay more than that, because any good agent would have sat down with them and said, there's 4 other offers on the table. you told me you wanted to give them their list price, but that probably won't win
Right.
the offer. So you have to dig a little deeper, you know.
And the one thing we don't know, we've talked about this for those who haven't tuned into other shows, is when you're having to put that extra money down, that's not coming from the lender. The lender's like,
No.
this house is worth X, and we're only giving X, so it's cash, or you're getting the money from somewhere else. You're trading in whatever you have in stocks and bonds or whatever, but it's cash. It's not lending money. So that's a huge thing to swallow. You know, it's like, wow, you're just going to cough out so much cash, but who knows? Well, it'll be interesting to see what happens down the road with some of those people who bought some of those homes. You know, are they ever going to get their money? Now, if you're going to live in that home until you die, hey, go for it, man.
Exactly.
It just takes you 40 years to pay it off.
Well, the market could have another surge, right? It's unpredictable of how the market's going to increase in value over time.
It is hard to imagine, but you're right. It certainly isn't out of the realm of possibility. It's hard to imagine, but
historically, you can look at the graphs of real estate and see an upward trend. I mean, it just is the way it is. So you're right. Like, as long as you hold that asset long enough, it will increase in value. So
right, exactly.
And I always listen. Especially first-time home buyer that I ever work with, I try to convey a message of this home's monetary value is only part of the story. The real value comes from how you live, you know, how your family lives in it, and the value that it brings from it. I mean, you can't put a price on that, Fletch.
Oh, I mean, absolutely.
You know, if you're meeting the daily needs of your family, it's great. You know, I mean, however that is to you. Like, for some, it's a beer tab in every room. For others, it's just I want a light switch in just inside the room that illuminates a light in the center of the room. Now, and not all homes have that. Like, you know, the Huber Heights homes that we grew up in, they all operated those light switches to the outlets.
Right.
So you didn't have a light in the center of the room, and you
had to figure out which plug it worked on, and that's how you maneuvered your bed and your nightstand to have a lamp to do that with. So it's like, well, I got my bed over there. Yeah, absolutely. This house here that I'm in is the first one has those, and they were afterthoughts. They're all newly wired from the original construction, and they're all ceiling fans in the three bedrooms.
Yeah,
ceiling fans with lights that work on the switches. And I found out having to change one that they definitely crammed them all in there. So and there's the socket ties and stuff. So it's definitely wasn't constructed that way from the beginning. It would have been a different switch. My understanding is so.
Sure,
but no, I totally agree. You know, you have to be able to function as a family and wherever you live. Heaven forbid if you can't, and you know, there's always people that you just got to get what you get because what you can afford. But you know, ideally, you know, you pay what you pay for, and it's two things: you can afford the home and afford to live in it, and the home is also functioning as serving the needs of your family. You know.
Yep. And so over time, I feel like our show, again, we're getting this change thing going on today. You can make changes as you need to, right? As the previous owner did for you. And obviously you can do that going forward. Something else that's changed in just like the last week, I've gotten different emails from the lenders that I partner with.
Okay.
And they have shared that interest rates are ticking up a little bit. So guess what? This changes for home buyers.
Now, what drives that? Is that kind of, because I know I've heard it.
Oh gosh, you need an economist. Oh my gosh.
Okay. I mean, a lot of times you hear like the Fed is going to change the rates up, the rates down. And that's just the overall rate. That's, you know, it's just, so that's just, I haven't heard. I don't even know who it is now. It used to be Alan Greenspan back in the day. I don't even know who's in charge of that now. So, but that hasn't actually happened where they've changed the national interest rate at all yet, right? To your knowledge, I haven't heard anything about that.
Not to my knowledge,
Okay.
but I think because, in the, see, this is not my forte, but in the grand scheme of things, there are a pool of investors who buy bonds, federal bonds, and those prices indirectly affect how other sales of loans
Okay.
are impacted, and that transcends down through to the lender itself because somebody's somebody has to put forth the money in order for the
Yep.
transaction to occur, right? And
Right.
it's one investor to the next, and ultimately everybody's trying to make a little bit of money off of their investment. So
And obviously, I believe inflation can play a role in things going higher, just overall in general.
it does, right? Yep. So that affects our power of purchasing,
Right.
like even at the pump, right? I mean, we spend a little more on gas, we have a little less money to spend at groceries, but
Yep.
and then we find out the grocer decided to raise prices to compensate for all those truck drivers that
And
brought
the
them all
gas.
that great food. Yeah, and they had gas prices go up. So yeah, it's a compounding thing that
Oh yeah.
if inflation is affected to some degree, it will affect at
Everything
some point
else.
every a lot of what you buy.
Yeah. There's no doubt. Price at the pump is affects practically everything you can think of from a consumer level because everything gets shipped
Has to be
with
delivered,
some kind
right?
of fuel.
Right.
And that fuel is costing, and now it's costing more, and so you just naturally they raise the price of the goods that they're delivering because they have to
Too
pay
bad
for
we
the
don't.
costs.
Yeah, too bad we don't do more by rail because I don't know that coal prices are through the roof.
Right.
And
Right.
coal, to my knowledge, is what still powers a
Yeah.
locomotive, right?
Right.
So, but in saying that, well, you wanted to buy $100,000 house, and your interest rate that you were going to be able to secure was, let's just say, 3.5%. Okay, that's your credit wasn't so good. And the lender said, "Hey, I'll be glad to help you out. You'll have to put so much money down, but the interest rate we're going to give you is 3.5%." Now, with this last little raise, let's just say now it's 3.75% interest rate, and that little bump for you personally was just enough that you gave yourself pause, like, maybe I should be looking at buying a $95,000 house instead of a $100,000 house because I was comfortable with this part of my payment, but that just added another $20 a month to my payment. And I don't know, maybe that's more than I can take. I mean,
Yep.
it's a personal choice, right? And
Sure.
I hope that everybody who goes through this process with their lender really talks about the affordability of life, not just the affordability of the house.
Right.
Because, so much goes into having a house and you still got a life to
Oh, yeah.
fund, so.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember thinking, me and my wife, I think I told you when we first got married, we were kind of involved in this building a house kind of a process.
Yeah, I remember.
And it was going to be like, okay, we're going to build this house and move in it, and we're going to have nothing furnished in it, and we're going to be eating peanut butter and crackers, because it's going to suck up so much of our
Right.
income.
Right.
But we were so wide-eyed by this house, had to have this house, and then luckily, divine intervention, in my opinion, intervened, and that company went out of business, and we
Hey.
hadn't signed anything yet, and we just kind of talked and said, you know what, maybe this is just a little too much too soon, and it totally was. It was
Yeah.
incredibly too much too soon. So it all has worked out first, as we've talked about in other shows and stuff like that, what we got on that. So,
Yep.
but the one thing I can't help but think about is the circle of everything that's happened in the last year. People out of jobs, not getting employment. Now you got some people not going back to work. We won't talk about why they're not going back to work. That's not that, but they're not going back to work. So a lot of them aren't. Where's people, and everything's opening up. People starting to go places and stuff. And I've gone places mostly to eat, but shop and stuff.
Yeah.
And you're seeing now hiring signs everywhere.
Everywhere,
people,
Fletch. Yeah.
I mean, it's very hard to find a company that's not looking for workers.
Right.
So you got to get these people back to work to get these companies back to making them money to pay to get people. It's kind of like it's
a circle.
It's
like
going to be interesting if something doesn't happen by a certain time. It affects something else, and if it's going to be a slow process or how long is it going to take to get everything. We were before the COVID. We had an incredible workforce as a country. There was people who needed jobs, and there weren't no jobs to be had, so to speak.
Right.
And that's probably not a technical thing, but just in general, I'm sure there's always jobs available, depending on what you want to do, blah blah blah. But now it's the flip side. Now we've got tons and tons of jobs available. It's a great time to, if you need a job, it's a great time to get a skill, go get one, because you might jump over somebody that maybe had that job before, but they're not willing to go back to work. And now all of a sudden they're going to find themselves, whenever they're ready to go back to work, not liking what there's available because they're going to be eaten up. So it's going to be interesting to see how that, and then how that affects homes and people, new job, new money. Hey, buy a home. So, or upgrade your home, blah, 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 stuff like that. So it's going to be an interesting circle of economy, so to speak, on what's going on with all that. So
I mean, whether it's new construction or existing construction, home sales in general fuel the economy in such a big way. Because people may switch out carpet, they'll definitely switch out paint. Like, so many of us think that paint is the easiest thing to do, and it really is. I mean, everybody
cheap
can.
And easy.
Yeah, it is. Whether you're a good painter is subjective, right? Because I've seen a lot of homes that have the lack of effort of, you probably should have blue taped off that area, because you were a sloppy, drippy kind of painter. But anyways, people sometimes want insulation put up into their attic to make their home more, climate controlled, and just little things like that. Or, hey, what if we need a silverware set because this is our first time moving in and we don't have a silverware set? They're going to go out and buy something, whether it's at Goodwill or whether it's at Macy's. They're going to go buy something, and all those little efforts to add value to your life. Right, because you've got to live. You need these things. Whether it's, I want a hot pink accent wall in my room. Well, you go out to the store and you buy yourself a gallon of paint. But all that enhances our economy. So good.
Oh yeah,
it's really good to see that we have had a steady trend of buying and selling over the past 3 years. Definitely super hot. It goes further back than that, obviously, but no matter what, and I know we've talked about this too, no matter what prices that somebody does pick up, there is a upward trend of value over the history, right? So
sure.
Just depends, like we said, how long you stay there. So
right. And new construction is an interesting topic. I think I'd like to. I don't know a whole lot about how you find out and who decides. Like, are there any new construction sites going on right now? Are a lot of them at a standstill because of COVID? Or are they going to pick back up?
No. I mean, different old farms, basically, or large plots of land become attractive to a builder, and they work out a deal where they can buy up the land, and then, of course, work with the local officials, whether it's county or city related, to be in compliance with all of the necessary utilities, your drainage, if natural gas is coming into the area, or electrical. And so many of Fletch, they do the underground utilities, electrical wise nowadays, instead of the overhead. That's a great next show, is how does builders work? Because I have had to go down that road for 3 of my clients that ironically they never chased it fully. Like once they got all the information, they realized, wow, that's a process and I don't want to do that. But, for a close friend of ours, it worked for him. And,
Sure.
This is our clean friend. That loves to keep it super tidy. So we'll save that for episode 13, the builder segment.
Yeah, absolutely. Because, it is a process, but it's the kind of thing where like, I can't find anything I like and I got the money. So do you have the time?
Do you have the time? That's the thing.
And good friends of mine's daughter and they're newlyweds. They were married during COVID, so they're coming up on their first year of marriage. Couple kids that got great jobs, and they're just doing things. You hate to say the right way, but a very smart way. They both have good jobs. They both have good money in the bank. They had a condo they moved into. In less than a year's time, they're already having it up for sale, and they're building a dream home.
Wow.
And right now they're in Paris.
Wow.
So it's,
wow.
God bless them.
And they're in Paris. What a life.
Yeah.
Sounds like a Walt Disney.
Yeah, they posted on Facebook behind the Eiffel Tower in their background, and I was gonna green screen myself in Eiffel Tower, going, "Hey, I'm there too." Let's go eat at the Louvre. But it's great. She's an outstanding. I know the family through my friend. That's his daughter. So the guy she's marrying is a great kid, great family. And obviously, I know her very well over the years. I used to help him coach her softball team when she was much younger. And, I told her, I said, I hope my girls turn out half as good as you, then I'll be very happy because you are just an outstanding girl, kid. You are exactly who you've always been at the age you always are. You didn't try to grow up too quick. You didn't, stay, you've just been very good. Nobody's perfect, and I'm not saying she's perfect. I'm just saying she's excellent kid, good head on her shoulders. Didn't try to move out too quick, hating mom and dad, none of that stuff. Good family. Yeah. Met a great guy, and it's just couldn't be more happy and proud for him. Had a beautiful wedding. It was, and their wedding, I think I might have mentioned to you. We're getting a little more off topic here, but it's always fun to hear things like this stories. They were set to be married in Kettering at a church, and like 6 weeks before the church canceled on it because of COVID. So they were 6 weeks out and had to find a new venue, which is almost impossible, let alone during a pandemic.
Right.
And also for their reception too. So they ended up north of town, Tip City-ish area, in this really cool. I would almost say like a Gilbert's party barn, but it's not a party barn. It's more for weddings, so it's a little more formal looking. But it's like indoor, outdoor. Everything was kind of opened up.
I know exactly where you're at.
It was.
I do. I passed
beautiful.
that. When I've been out home shopping in that area, I remember seeing that place that you're talking about. Okay. So. It's like off of Ross Road or something like that.
I think you're right. I think it's right.
It's up there. So
it was they were complete outdoor wedding, and then indoor the barn, which is in and outdoor seating and all the dancing and the stuff, and I was like, wow, this was just a fantastic. I don't know what they paid for it. I would imagine it wasn't the $100,000 dress, like I say, used to the dress, and my wife loves to watch that show, and I'm just amazed at what people pay for a dress. But anyways,
I'm amazed at what people pay for a wedding.
Well, that too, yeah.
But weddings are expensive.
Yeah, no doubt. I did my wedding for $500, but anyways,
hey.
So it was a beautiful wedding, beautiful, and I was like, you know what? I think it all worked out the way it was meant to be. This was I don't know what that church looked like. She fell in love with that church because Kettering School of Medicine, where she went, had something there, and she just fell in love with the way this church looked at Kettering, and so that's where they were going to go.
Okay.
But she ended up very happy with what they did and stuff. Cool. It was nice. So, yep, they're in Paris right now, loving life. Their dream home is being built, and
nice.
Actually, probably. She actually followed my advice, I would say. She won't tell you that it was my advice, but I did give it to her. I said, dude, I get married until you're 25 and stay home the whole time. And she did. So it turned out pretty good. So, hey,
nice.
Pat myself on the back.
All right.
Now, my own kid's advice is always live at home and make as much money as you can and give it to your parents. But I don't know if they're going to do that. We'll see.
We'll see how that works out for you, Fletch.
So, but anyways, so we're getting back to the homes. We have a potential of a huge influx of homes in the market over the next year once the moratorium. It just all depends on how people handled their situations and what
Right.
is going to happen and what the lenders are gonna, what situations everybody's in.
Right.
It should be interesting. It's
Yeah,
things could get real interesting by the end of the summer.
I really don't see the crash at all like we experienced in '09 through 11 at
Right.
all, because there's there's too many people who are primed to make money, and they are just waiting for opportunities and pick them
Right.
up. And of course, the same millennial generation that sidelined themselves too long to be a part of a regular flow of inventory acquisition. They finally got on board. That's one of the biggest reasons why we had such a decrease in inventory, is because those millennials finally got on their stuff together and like, we need to go buy a house.
Right. It's very true. I don't see an '08 thing because that was just a whole different animal. It's
was.
very.
It was
There was
predatory
loans,
lending. I mean,
loans that shouldn't have been given out. So
Right.
it's much different. So hopefully
It
we've
is.
learned from mistakes of that past. So
Oh,
know,
I know that lenders are held to too higher standards
right.
these days. They cannot get underwriting to pass off on just anything. I mean,
Right.
yeah, the regulations that were implemented were, I think they were substantial.
Fail safes. Absolutely. So my kids are yelling at the dog. I believe you've got to make a pickup, if I'm not mistaken, here.
I do. Yeah.
So let's be a little quick show today, but look forward to the next show talking about building and builders and building houses and stuff. That'll be really interesting.
Yeah.
So let's do our restaurants real quick.
Restaurants. Yeah. Did
it
you eat
was-
anywhere good?
Yes, it was, of course, celebrating Father's Day, so we went to a place. It's not necessarily a local place. It's called Cooper's Hawk. This
Yeah.
one is in Centerville,
Yeah.
but it's where all that new stuff is, Costco and all that. It's a
Yeah.
great place for wine, but it's a very nice, casual dress place to go eat. And the star of the meal was the crab and lobster bisque. I can't say enough about it. I asked him if I
Yummy.
could bring home a huge container of it. If you want. I literally said, if you have
Can
any
I get
leftover,
a gallon? Can I get a gallon to go, please?
if you have any left over at the end of the day, just throw it in something and I'll come by and pick it up. It was phenomenal. But the place
That
is
sounds
so
good.
good. We love places that are so like cloth napkins. You sit down and there's
Oh, yeah.
plenty of room. It's wide open. It's great decor. My kids loved it. We had a great time. So Cooper's Hawk, give it a try. It's a little
fancy.
upscale, but you will have
That's-
some.
that's
And
very
you can spend a
fancy.
lot of money, and you can spend your typical $30 to $40 meals. Just for the family. I mean, it depends on what you want to get. They got everything from burgers and spaghetti and meatballs all the way up to
Wait, they have
filet-
burgers and they have lobster crab
lobster
bisque.
bisque. Yes, and I got fish and
How
chips.
do they do that?
Exactly. It's good stuff. So, Cooper's Hawk is my recommendation, and yours.
So, geez, I finally got to revisit an old friend, restaurant-wise, and
Right.
go to their new location, which is at the corner of Whip and Far Hills in Centerville, and a nice building they've renovated that was. Help me remember.
Was it a TGI Fridays?
It was before that. There was another version.
Ruby Tuesdays?
Ruby Tuesdays, yes.
Okay,
That
okay.
it was a former Ruby Tuesdays, but they opened the place up, so it's got that whole big open space. It's got lots of big TVs for the sports lover, big
Right.
bar area, just really nice open place. And my family enjoyed a meal there after our daughter's recital. We had a dance recital over the weekend. And,
I saw that on Facebook.
yes. And I ordered a roast beef au jus, and it was so yummy. You could have made it a Philly cheesesteak with onions and green peppers
Nice.
and mushrooms if I wanted, but I just elected to do the roast beef au jus, and it was great, Fletch. So
Awesome. Yeah, I think we were talking about that like the last episode, and you were saying that you hadn't been to G's, and me and our good clean friend,
Yes.
we had went there during football season, and
Yeah.
And I definitely ate a little bit more than I should have, which I know is hard to believe, but it was that good. And I'm not. Trust me, if food's ain't good, I don't say it's good because I'm I don't lie about food.
Right.
I think I had pizza. I had a burger.
Yeah.
We were there for a little while, but it was good stuff. Good stuff. So cheese is absolutely
and their portions were huge. I felt like.
I had wings too.
That one of the things that I noticed when everybody got their food at the table was, oh wow, you're going to be able to eat all that,
right?
They were very substantial size portions. So
absolutely,
had a good time.
Absolutely. So I'm glad you got to go there because Jesus is a good one. I think next time I'm going to bring up Bennett's because I don't think I've brought that up yet. That's a great local place down in Miamisburg. Miamisburg is full of really good local places.
Okay.
And I think you got a place we'll talk about next time too. I think it's the Chumps.
Yep, TJ Chumps.
Yeah. So we'll talk about those next time. So,
okay.
Real quick, this is the Fletch Entertainment Network. So we're on Facebook and we're on YouTube. If you're watching this on Facebook, you can give us a like and a share. I would appreciate it. I know Eric would too.
Yes.
And then also on YouTube, they got the subscribe button. Give it a click and also click the bell for notifications so you can see everything we're doing here and get notified on when we're going live and when we're having new material and everything. So we appreciate it very much. And this is the solstice is coming up. So enjoy the summer. It's going to be a great summer. We're here every weekend. And we will look forward to answering questions. We want questions, anything you got when it comes to homes. As I said, things are starting to uptick a little bit in the inventory, so that's a good sign if you're interested looking for homes. Real quick,
change.
Eric's Realtor website, ericroffrealtor.com. He's with NavX Realty. Questions, shoot them to him, or you can put them on the comments of this, and we'll check them out. So I appreciate it, everybody. Appreciate you, Eric. Have a great week.
Thank you,
we'll see you next week, and we'll see you all again next week. And until then, enjoy the music, and we'll see you next week.
See you.